First, it's my pleasure to introduce Supervisory Special Agent Brett Chabot with the FBI. Chabot has served with the Bureau for more than 16 years and has become a lead expert in fighting fraud and cybercrime. Following his assignments as the Unit Chief of International Operations Division Asia Unit, Chabot now serves as a supervisory special agent for the Complex Financial Crime Squad in Orange County. Next, we will have Deputy District Attorney Tina Patel, who has been with the Attorney's Office for over 20 years. Patel actively serves as the Assistant Head of Court for Major Fraud in Orange County for the past 9 years, where she tackled elder financial fraud and abuse. Lastly, on our law enforcement panel, we have Sergeant Laura Barber with the Orange County Sheriff's Department, who served as the investigative sergeant in charge of financial and cyber crime, where most of her investigations targeted elder fraud. Barber is currently a doctoral candidate for the PhD in intercultural education. Please come on up, everyone. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for that introduction. Again, my name is Brett Chabot. I work with the FBI here in Orange County. We focus a lot on scams, which we'll cover here in a little bit. But one thing I want to say first, and just touching on what Mr. Genoway said, is outreach and education is very important. We try to do these at least once a month. And so we have a pretty standard presentation that goes over the details of a lot of the scams that we see on a daily basis. That's like a 60-minute presentation. We try to walk you through the details. We have really good examples we have to show you, but I know we don't have time for all that today, so I'm going to try to truncate all that down into 5 or 10 minutes so I can give my colleagues here some time to speak. I don't want to hog all the time, but this is a very complicated subject, as you'll learn here and as you've seen from some of the other speakers so far with the AI, and I know there's going to be a lot of questions on that. But I just want to start by saying that the problem set that we're facing is significant. Somebody else had mentioned this before, that we're up against professional organizations, right? We're not, imagine going onto a basketball court, like we're not playing a bunch of third graders. Like these are the New York Knicks that we're playing, right? These are sophisticated criminal enterprises that have departments and segments. They have money launderers, they have recruiters, they have the scammers who are the people on the phone, they have the leadership, they have the people that fly to the US to open bank accounts, they have the couriers here, and I know one of the, Laurel's gonna touch on that here in a little bit, where they have couriers that work in our backyard right here to take your hard-earned money from you. So this is, imagine a Fortune 500 corporation that was set up to scam. That is what we're facing, and that's why these numbers that we'll go over here in a second are so significant. So as you can see on these slides, this is fraud that's reported to the FBI by way of the Internet Crime Complaint Center, which is just a public-facing website that the FBI has for victims of fraud to report scams. As you can see, just 2025 alone, we had over 1 million reports. What's troubling, as you can see in the middle, is the loss amount was $21 billion. That is not a fabricated number. We have a unit, or I should say, that's not a, that's a really good estimate, I guess. It's not an exaggerated number. We have a full unit at FBI headquarters that processes and reviews every single IC3 complaint, and then if it's significant enough, they will action it out to the field, to Orange County as an example, if the victim is here, for us to review, look at, potentially take action on. What we're looking at on this slide right now is the alarming trend that we've seen in reports to IC3 since 2001. And more importantly, I guess if you just look at the last 5 years, from 2020, 2021, up to 2025, which is the most recent year we have reporting for, you can see we're trending in the wrong direction, right? Like that's a bad trend right there. And you go to the far end, the right side of that screen, that's the 21 billion. We were at 16 billion roughly last year, 16.5 billion. So the scammers profited another $4.5 billion beyond what they did in 2024, and we thought that was bad. And I can tell you from the seat that I'm sitting in just in Orange County that number for 2026 is probably going up, because perfect example, and I know folks like to hear concrete examples, because we hear about, well, look out for this and watch out for that, and that's our kind of longer presentation. We try to cover in a lot of these examples. But here's a specific example that Laurel and I were just talking about a few minutes ago. of an elderly victim in South Orange County, maybe in the district here that we're talking about, reported, I think, both to Orange County Sheriff's Office or Sheriff's Department as well as the FBI via IC3 that since 2025, roughly November of 2025, the victim has passed over $6.5 billion in gold coins to couriers that she has either met in parking lots here in Orange County, or the couriers have come to her house to pick them up, right? So again, we go back to the sophisticated criminal enterprise that we were talking about, right? This isn't just a couple of scammers sitting in a condo in India or Cambodia somewhere. This is a huge organization, a Fortune 500 organization set up to steal your money. That's exactly what their goal is, and they're really good at it. They have people that create fake websites and open bank accounts, and we talked about the money launderers, and we have the couriers that are here, right? These are all like just little pieces in this large apparatus that allows them to steal $21 billion. So huge amount, unfortunately, going in the wrong direction. The woman that I had just mentioned here in Orange County, she was a victim of a tech support scam. So basically she was contacted by her bank, or actually this was more of a bank impersonation scam. Contacted by what she thought was her bank. Her bank said there was a problem with her account. You had heard from one of the previous speakers that they were preying on her fear and urgency. Hey, you have a problem with your bank account. You need to fix it right now. The fear, the urgency. If you don't fix it right now, your account's going to be closed. Everything that you have set up for auto pay and credit cards and everything else, it's all going to get shut down. So that fear is what caused her to start withdrawing money. But she didn't want to send it overseas, which is where the scammers were. So what did she, they coordinated to go have her pull money out, go to a local gold shop, buy gold coins, package those coins up, a courier will come pick it up. And these couriers, we've sat with Orange County Sheriffs, with the DA's office who's prosecuting one of these cases right now. We've sat in and done surveillance on these couriers. They're really sophisticated. We all know what two-factor authentication is, right? You get the code on your phone, that's how you confirm it's your device and it's you logging in. Well, the courier who showed up at the door in an instance that we had about a month and a half ago that led to the arrest of a courier, that courier had a two-factor authentication code that the victim had to confirm with the courier so they knew they were involved in the same transaction. So it's just another level of sophistication which gives the gives the victims more sense that this is real when obviously it's not. So I'm going to just cover as quickly as I can the types of scams that we go over. And this isn't death by PowerPoint, so I'm not going to go over any more slides. But there's really three types of scams that we see on a daily basis. The three most prevalent scams that I want you folks to be aware of. The first is what we would call a romance scam. This is more of a confidence-based scam. So we talked about the impersonation one, the victim here just a couple minutes ago. That is the fear. That is a fear and urgency. They're preying on the victim's fear. That's a fear-based scam. The romance scams are confidence-based. They don't ask for money in the first phone call. They don't ask for money even many times 3 to 4 weeks in. They might wait 2 to 3 months. What are they doing in that time? They're building confidence. They're building the relationship. We heard Dr. Gibbs mention social engineering. There's another department in this large Fortune 500 company. They're the social engineers, right? Every single one of us, myself included, we all have digital exhaust. What is that? That's basically little breadcrumbs that you leave on the internet so people can learn more about you. Sometimes it's really blaring, like your home address. Other times it's maybe an image you posted on your LinkedIn page or on WhatsApp or on any social media that you're on about a trip that you just took. Well, the scammer is researching your name, and they're not just going on page 1 of Google Hits, right? They're taking the deep dive on these confidence-based scams to find out everything about you, how many kids you have. Do you like skiing? Where do you travel to? This is all part of the relationship building over the first couple of months. And what's alarming about that is the victim thinks they have a friend. So many times this is a love interest. Sometimes it's not. It's just a friend. And at some point, 2 to 3 months down the road, the scammer is going to introduce an investment opportunity. And it's usually, we also call this digital-based investment fraud. They're introducing, hey, my uncle used to work for JP Morgan Chase. This is a real example we saw. My uncle used to work for JP Morgan Chase. He had this great algorithm. He knows how to make money. Why don't you just send me $10,000? I'll show you how to do it. Keep in mind, they've already been talking to this person for 2 months. So they're like, oh yeah, I trust this person. I'm going to send them $2,000 or $10,000. They do it. There's the software development piece of the Fortune 500 apparatus, right, that creates the fake website that looks like the 10,000 is now increased to 20,000, right? Suddenly the victim's like, wow, she's actually telling the truth. Look at my investment, it's increased. I'm gonna send more money. And that's where we see the bloodletting happen, right? And suddenly 10,000 becomes 100,000, becomes 500,000. And as Dr. Gibbs mentioned, sometimes we see they don't have any left in their nest egg, so what are they gonna do? They're gonna take out a mortgage on their house, take out a second home equity line of credit, and then they're gonna send that money. And that's where we've had victims in Orange County report losses in excess of $20 million, one victim. Okay, so that's the confidence-based scams. There's a lot more to it, but I don't want to take up too much time. The other ones that we mentioned are the impersonation and tech support scams. Those are the three that we see the most. So we have romance scams, also called confidence scams, right? And then we have the government impersonation. Sometimes it's bank impersonation, and we have tech support. You heard the example before. I think about an ad that pops up on your computer. That's what we would generally call tech support. It changes in terms of who the quote-unquote a legitimate company is behind it. It might be PayPal, it might be Best Buy, Amazon, we've seen all of them. But the scammers can create what looks like a real invoice from PayPal, email it to the victim and say, you owe $15,000 as an example. This is all fear and urgency based, pay now or your account's gonna be closed, right? We get at my desk, and I'll just a quick summary before I turn it over to my colleagues here, is in FBI just in Orange County. Remember, we're just a satellite office of larger FBI, right, where we have 2 other squads up in downtown LA that do the same thing that my squad does here in Orange County. We probably see 15 to 20 complaints like this a week, right? It might be romance scam, it might be tech support, it might be the government impersonation. It's usually one of those 3, but they're coming to my desk because there's victims in Orange County who have reported a loss, right? So that hopefully helps you understand how prevalent this is. And I guess I'll just leave you with one final takeaway before I turn it over is that, again, just remember who we're up against. These folks are really good at what they do. And we're really good at what we do too, but we're chasing them, and it's never fun to chase. You want to be the one being chased, right? And it's not fun to chase when they're 6 weeks ahead of us, because many times victims don't necessarily know they've been scammed. They're ashamed to report. They won't report to law enforcement right away. So by the time we get the report, that wire transfer was sent 4.5 months ago to Vietnam. There's nothing we can do with that. I can't go to Vietnam and get your money back. Same thing with crypto investments. If it was if it was sent in cryptocurrency, even if it was 2 weeks ago, unfortunately, there's a 99.5% chance it's gone. We're not going to get our money back. So I'll stop there and turn it over to my colleagues. Thank you.
Hi, good morning, everybody. So nice to be here today. I did a similar panel, I think, last year, so if I saw any of you and I have the same story, I apologize. But as a member of the DA's office, I think the most important thing to learn about our role is that I'm not going to usually see the crime until we found the perpetrator, right? Because my law enforcement partners do all the investigative work, they get all the reports, but it's not until they actually find the person that I become involved or my office becomes involved. So yes, I also see all the same scams, the internet-based scams, the phone call scams, the fake email from Amazon or Target or whatever. But usually, like Brett said earlier, we're not gonna find those people, right? Because they're gonna be the person who actually sent the email, then the person that money went to, then the person that took it out from there and already sent it off probably to a different country. So prevention is really, really, really important. I think Dr. Gibbs talked about that. It's really about educating you guys now so you don't fall for these things. But I'll talk to you about a few scams that I will actually see because we actually found the person, right? So we have a suspect who then we file a charge against, and then they become a defendant, and then we can take it through the court process. And some of the most common ones that I can talk to you about today, I do have a presentation, but I'm probably not going to use it because we're all going to hear the same thing. But probably the most common that I will finally see is, or more currently see, is investment scams. Okay, so that means it's someone you knew, okay? It's someone you became friends with or someone you started talking to. And You trusted them because they told you there was this amazing investment opportunity that they can turn. You have all this retirement money. It's just sitting there. It's just sitting in a bank. I have this great investment plan, and you're going to make so much more interest on this, and you're going to be even more rich. And here's my example of what I've done for someone else, right? So how do you not fall for that? Because you know this person. You've gotten to know this person. It's not some random person on the internet. It's hard. There's no great solution, but the important thing is think about how recently you might have met them, how fast they are already talking to you about your finances, and how quickly then they're saying, invest with me, okay? And I see this most commonly in what I think, I don't know if I made it up, but I call it affinity scam. So that's some sort of group that you feel a part of, and so you think, I would never not trust this person in this group. So where is that common? For example, church, okay? Because we go to church and we worship the same religion or whatever it is, and so you think, this person at the church would never do this to me. They believe in the same thing I believe in. And maybe there are really good investments out there and good people out there. I'm not saying everyone's bad, but just stop, right? Stop and think before you just give over. And I've seen thousands to hundreds of thousands to millions in like one check, and then it's gone, right? It's gone. And yes, we can try to get that person in court and do everything we can, but the chances that the money's still there are not high. We have gotten that back before, but it's usually not common. And then all that money you spent is gone very quickly. So just be careful who you are investing with. Look into the investment a little more. Don't believe everything they say. And similarly, like if you're into a sport, like everyone's into pickleball, right? So you go to the pickleball court and you might have your best friend, your new best friend, but it's not somebody you hung out with for 20 years. It's your new best friend at the pickleball court, and they start talking to you, and then they're like, let's go out to lunch, and then, okay, well, let's somehow talk about, well, what are you doing in your retirement? And then you somehow talk about how much money you have, whatever it comes up. So just be aware. Stop before you just give over a check, not knowing anything more than that. And then another thing investment scams being more common, but I'm also unfortunately seeing a lot of caretaker scams. And there are amazing caretakers out there. So every time I say that, I don't want to take away from the absolutely fabulous caretakers that are out there taking care of our senior population. But a lot of times what happens is the caretakers are in your life and they have legal, valid, access to your account because they have to go out and get groceries or they have to get medications or whatever it is, and you allow them to do that, and that's fine. But just be careful what you are allowing them to do. Are you giving them full access to something? Are you giving them, some sort of ATM card with some money, whatever it is? Think about that, and more importantly, look at your finances, look at your bank records, because when I've seen these cases come through, it's typically a caretaker who came into someone's life, was doing great, did nothing wrong. Years later, maybe a family member, like a grown child of the senior person came in and started looking and thought, I don't think my mom spends this much on groceries every month, right? Just doesn't make sense. Or I don't think my mom has this specific bill that she pays. This doesn't sound like something she even, this company is someone she does any sort of business with. And you don't notice because you're mostly fine, right? You're still paying your bills, you're getting your groceries, you're doing everything you need to do. So you're not really looking or noticing when a little bit is being moved out. I'm not talking about like they took $100,000 out and did something big. It's just small amounts. But I've seen cases where 2 years later, it's $100,000, $1 million, where they just slowly took something every single time. And those cases can be hard for us also because, they'll just say, well, no, they gave me permission. They gave me permission to do this. And once in a while, they said it was okay that I went and had lunch, because they'll take care of it. And that's fine. But the point is, just look, right? Just get in the habit of looking at your bank accounts. Does everything look normal? Does it look basically like what it should look like? And if you're internet savvy or you're fine with looking on the internet, great, go look at it on the internet. But if you don't, go to the bank and ask and just check that everything seems normal. Because we are going to get taken advantage of by people that we think are our friends and trust. And so that's kind of the main ones that I see. Of course, I will just touch on the the scams that are, I just always want to make sure I tell you guys this at these presentations. The internet-based scams, like the fake Target email and the fake Amazon email, I still see those. My number one advice for that is go to the actual website, right? So, because I know I'll get something from, let's say, Bank of America, because I have an account at Bank of America, and it could be real, and it looks super real, but it's very simple. Just do not click that link, do not send money, do not even call the phone number that's at the bottom saying, hey, if you have a question, call this number. Do not do that. Go outside of that, find the real Bank of America customer service or whatever it is, and ask them. I got an email, this is what it said, is there fraud in my account, do I owe money for this, whatever it is, and you will get somebody who can actually tell you, and 9 times out of 10, you probably don't have something you need to pay. It's the urgency with which these fraudsters try to get you, right? Pay right now, or we're gonna close your account. Give us this money right now. And most government agencies, real investment opportunities, whatever it is, they don't need the money this minute. So you have time to stop and think about it. And there's so many good resources here. So I would say, go around, collect all the pamphlets, and then if you're in a situation, go look and say, wait, is this something that one of these people talked about or one of these people wrote about in their booklets? Because it might be something that saves you from just going over and, reading a similar scam. So I will I don't have a lot of time either. I will stay and talk to you guys, because I know everyone likes to ask very specific DA's office prosecutor questions later. But I will leave you with my favorite story, because people love a real life case example, I've learned. And so if you've heard it before, I don't know if you guys were here last year, if anyone was here last year when I spoke, but if you heard it before, sorry, however. My favorite crime that I've seen, which is kind of a little bit of what Brett talked about, which was like a romance scam, but it started off as somebody in another state, Alabama, I think it was, who was looking for a tractor, okay? And I guess you can go on eBay and buy a tractor, a whole tractor. And so he went on there and it said, there's this tractor. And it was, I can't remember the exact number, but it was like $10,000 or $12,000. And so, of course, he said, okay, because it looked real, and clicked, and then sent off his payment, to whoever this person was selling the tractor. And sure enough, no tractor came, okay? And then there was a phone number, an email address, so he starts emailing and calling like, hey, I sent this payment, where is it? Somebody emails back and says, oh, it's coming, we're processing, we have a delay in the shipment, whatever. So he's like, okay, I'll wait. Waits, no tractor, contacts him again. Some other person emails and calls with a different name and says, oh, it's, we're getting it, it's coming, whatever, just kind of leads him on for a little bit. And luckily, at some point, he decided, you know what, I'm just gonna report this. I'm going to report this to my local police department in Alabama. Side point, please, 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 please report, because we can find people. We don't always find people, yes, because sometimes they're in a whole nother country, but we will. Actually, I've talked to both Brett and Laurel on the email a bunch of times, and then today I'm actually meeting them. But we work together, and so I encourage you to report. But he did report, and then the police over there in Alabama, this criminal was not sophisticated, and so the money was going right into some guy's account, and so they saw it, and they looked up where this account was, and it was a guy in Aliso Viejo, okay? And so, I think it was actually the sheriff's department went out to his house, and they're like, okay, well, we have a search warrant because there's a large amount of money that went into your bank account, and they got search warrant to look at his bank records and all that. And from there, found 2 or 3 more people from eBay, tractor sales, who never reported it, just either hoped it would come or gave up, contacted those people, and they're like, yeah, did the same thing. This was the advertisement, this was where I sent the money, and nobody would have ever known, but he actually, when they searched his home, he had written all this down. He had notes with everyone's numbers and everyone's information, and the sheriff's got all that for us. And then from there were some other really large transactions in his bank records, like $25,000 from some state, and then $40,000 from some other state. And they thought that's a little weird, because you can also see what the person's legitimate job is if they have it and they get a normal paycheck. So it's a little weird when a huge sum of money comes in. And from there found, I think, about 4 senior women from different states who he was talking to, pretending to be someone else, maybe more their age. This guy was like 30, and sending them photos of someone else, and they fell for it, romance scam, and talked to them for months. And of course, when the law enforcement contacted them, a couple of them were super reluctant to even get involved because they're embarrassed, right? It's embarrassing that I fell for this person, thought he was real, and then sent him a very large amount of money. I'm not talking like $100 for something, but he convinced me. I think the 2 that would talk to us, I think, said something like, he said, oh, I was in the war and all my medals are being held by the government, and so if I don't send $20,000, I'll never get those. And she was like, okay, I have it. And she just sent it off. And then another one was something related to like, I want to do this business opportunity, and then we can be together in the same state, and she believed him because he sent all the right things and he talked to her. Anyway, so we got him on all those victims, and then we went on to prosecute him. And lucky for him, he had parents who paid a lot of the money back, but unfortunately for his parents, because they didn't do anything wrong, but they wanted to help their son. So we got the money back on that. But that's a very rare example. So I'll leave you with my favorite quote when I do these presentations is, do not send money to anyone you've never met. Okay, just remember that. Do not send money to anyone you've never met. That doesn't mean you have to pay your bills. I know you don't know the guy from the gas company or the electric company. I know that. I know you never met him. You have to pay that bill. But if it's someone who comes on the internet, on a phone call and whatever, and starts talking to you, and they send you photos and they talk to you forever, but you've never met them, right? So think about it. Think about it before you do that. Thank you.
Good morning. I am Sergeant Laurel Barber with the Orange County Sheriff's Department, and I'm here. We are here because all of you are very important people. And you are here because you are very important people. And it is important to us that you have a good retirement, that you have a good life at the end of your life, so that your whole life is good. Unfortunately, my job is to read pretty much all the financial scam reports that happen across the county of Orange. Every single day I come in, every single day there's a lot more, hundreds every month, and it breaks my heart. And I don't want to read anymore. I want all of you to be wise with how you live. That's my biggest request. So there's a number up there. It says dispatch. Since we're in the gorgeous city of Laguna Niguel and my in-laws have lived here for years, please use the 949. Is this working? Please use the 949-206-6100 number. If you have a phone call from your bank and they're asking for your social and they want you to get out cash and meet them and hand them cash, call us. If some Army veteran overseas is desperately in love with you, but he can't get to you and he needs you to send him $200,000 for a plane ticket, call us. If you think that your daughter was kidnapped, call us. But especially if they're asking for money and then we trace the number and it's from Mexico, call us, right? Please call us. Don't be embarrassed. My ex-husband called me. He's like, Laurel, I just got off the phone with, I thought it was my bank. And I'm like, oh, you got scammed. But he called me and we could help him. So if he has the humility to call us, you should definitely call us. We are here to help you. We are here because we care about you. I've done all kinds of training that your taxes paid for so that I can help you. Call us. My investigators are amazing people, and they work really hard. We've had some success in our office last year. We got back over $3 million that had been stolen from the population of Orange County. Unfortunately, that's a drop in the bucket from what was stolen from you, as my partner Brett said earlier. It's a drop in the bucket. Even if we can't find your suspect or your money right away, sometimes down the road, we've had success where, hey, other people reported stuff, and then one of our Orange County residents reported stuff, and we traced the bank account, and we were able to freeze the money, and we got all the money back for our Orange County resident, and there was leftover, and then we could look in the FBI And they helped us out, and they helped us find other victims for this same suspect, and we got their money back too. So if you don't report it, we can't help you. Please call us. Please report it. Even if you feel dumb. I feel dumb every day. How often? We don't know everything. No one knows everything. Call us. We want to hear from you. If you aren't sure, call us, right? If it doesn't feel right, call us. And if a city chief ever calls you from the sheriff's department asking for money, call us, because it's not us. And we've had residents in Orange County lose hundreds of thousands of dollars thinking that they were sending it to the sheriff's department. We don't do that. Call us and we'll send a deputy in uniform, or they'll have a badge. If it's one of my investigators, a badge and a gun, right? And we'll show you our ID. That's us. And we'll say, don't give them money. But maybe we can meet up with them and we can take them to jail, right? So please call us. There's a QR code right there that has a lot of scams on it that you can read about on your own time, because I know we didn't have a lot of time today. 2 scams I want to talk about. Number 1 scam growing in Orange County right now that comes across my desk every day, tens of times. Because you are good people and you pay your taxes and you pay your bills, unfortunately, a lot of you like to pay with checks, and you like to mail the checks. And checks get stolen from mailboxes. They get stolen from inside the postal office. I read these reports every day. We walked inside the post office, just to make sure our letter wasn't stolen from the blue box, and we put it in there. There's, and we don't know where it gets stolen from in the system, but a lot of your checks are being stolen out of the mail right now. If at all possible, please do not pay with check. Please pay online, right? Have that automatic withdrawal. I paid my IRS taxes this year online, not with a check. It's my first year. After seeing all of you losing your money with checks, I'm like, I'm not doing it. I'm paying it online. And it worked, as far as I know. They'll let me know if it didn't. All right? Please, if you absolutely have to pay with a check, follow up. Follow up. When you see that money, because scammers are really smart, they used to be dumb. They'd wash the checks, they'd add another $1 million and cash it, or try to cash it, and that was really obvious. You're like, hey, where'd my $1 million go, right? But now they're getting smarter and they're not adding money onto your checks. If you write a check for $1,300 for your taxes, whether it's for the county, whether it's for your property tax, whether it's for the IRS, they leave the money the same. And so, as you know, we balance the checkbook, right? And you go and you balance, the $1,300 came out just like it was supposed to, and you don't check who cashed it. And you find out 6 months later when the IRS sends you a letter, hey, you never paid your $1,300. And you said, yes, I did. And you look and it was, cashed by someone named Rosa Marquez. And you're like, I don't know Rosa Marquez. I wrote that, and you look back in your checkbook and it was to IRS, that same check number. It's very, very late in the game at that point to try and get your money back, and it's very, very hard to catch these people. So please, if you absolutely have to pay with a check, don't. But if you do, go online, their bank account, and it shows whose name is written. When that money comes out of your account, you can look same day. I look every day. Okay, I wrote a check. I do sometimes. I know I shouldn't, but I do sometimes. And I check whose name. Was that the name of the person I wrote it to? Please check. And if it's not, call us. Thank you. Call us. Good, okay? Second thing I want to talk about, and we hit on it earlier, I just want to pound that nail in the coffin because it's really important. Never, ever in your life have you ever taken out $25,000 in cash and given it to a courier. That's not normal. Please do not do that. Never have you taken out money and bought gold coins or gold bars. We've had both in Orange County multiple times. And these people were smart enough to have enough money to buy the gold. So it's not like they were dumb. They weren't. They were tricked. And they went and they bought the gold bars, the gold coins. They went and got the cash out. They lied to the bank and said it was for home improvements or buying a car or whatever, right? And they handed over to someone they'd never met before in their entire life. Don't do that. But if you do that, call us, okay? We really care about you. We really do. We love you guys. We're here to protect you. The best defense is a good offense. You have to let us know when things don't feel right. You have to let us know when things go wrong. Maybe we can't solve it today. Every case that we have, maybe we close it today. We can reopen it when, hey, this dummy does that another 5 times, and now I have police reports from around the country, and each one, like Brett was saying, has a little breadcrumb, and we can put those together, and now we're kicking down doors, and we're taking people to jail. So please still make the report. Be humble. Call us. We're all dumb in our special ways. Like I said, I still write checks sometimes, right? Please call us. You guys have worked too hard to not have your own money. You have worked too hard to worry about what am I going to eat in retirement. It breaks my heart when I have to call Meals on Wheels because a senior has lost all their money to a scam. Please don't be that person. But if it does happen, call us and maybe we can still help you. All right? Thank you.